this is actually something that I wanted to talk about anyway, and I'm going to grab this image.
Hang on, we've got Greta. We've got Greta in the chat. We'd love Greta on the podcast.
It's because your paymasters haven't offered me enough money. You know I'm a grifter. I do everything for money. Come on, just stump up the cash. All right, sorry, this wasn't a pre-planned graphic. I've literally just grabbed this now, so it's not really the right ratio for the screen. But what you can see there is Javier Milei's betting markets on whether on how he's going to go at the next election.
Yeah.
Now, what he's got coming up, so Javier Milei, for those that don't know, became the president of Argentina. He was elected in late 2023, and he took over in 2024. And he just started 25. Anyway, whenever it was, he started crushing reforms. It was amazing. He cut the number of government departments down by half. He reduced government spending by about 30%. He eliminated a heap of welfare programs. He stopped lying. He stopped the official government manipulation of the exchange rate and allowed the currency to actually correct to its actual market value. Just did a whole bunch of amazing market reforms. And everyone said it was going to be a disaster. The poverty rate in the country when he took over was already at 38%. So this was already a very poor country that was getting worse. Argentina was going down the tube. It was basically us in another 15 years' time. That was Argentina. And everyone said, this isn't going to work. It's going to be a disaster. Well, not only has it worked, where the poverty rate is now below where it was when he came in. Now, when he came in, he did a bunch of reforms. The poverty rate got worse briefly. It's already recovered, and it's now lower than what it was when he came in. Inflation is still moderately high, but it's massively under control compared to what it was. The government's budget is balanced. They're no longer racking up more debt. They're no longer going deeper into debt, which means the country's credit rating is improving, and their cost of borrowing is getting lower, which means that their ability to service that debt gets cheaper, and this upward spiral is kicking in. The economy is growing massively because he massively deregulated. He just said, hey, if you want to do something, do it, and got a whole bunch of regulations out of the way. But there were a lot of protests because a lot of people, government people lost their jobs, about 70,000 of them, and them and their families were pissed. A bunch of welfare programs got cut and a bunch of people were pissed. And a lot of people said, this isn't going to last. Javier Milei is going to get thrown out. Well, the midterm elections are coming up. So the way they do it over there is halfway through a presidential term, there's what's called a midterm election where Congress and the Houses of Parliament do get elected. That's coming up. And right now, 81%, I can't even quite read my own numbers there. Something like 81% or 84% of people are planning to vote for Javier Milei and his party. Now, keep in mind, he was elected president, or his party, in Congress only got 14% of the vote 2 years ago.
And he had massive pushback when he was first elected.
Yep. Massive pushback. So in only 2 years of libertarianism, 84% of actually experiencing it, of living under it, 84% of the people living under it are now saying they're going to vote for a libertarian at the next congressional elections.
I agree with you, Topher, and I think some people have misunderstood me in the chat. I'm just reading the comments. Guys, I am anti-socialism. I'm not encouraging socialism, but what I'm saying is Australians, not you who are watching this podcast, because I know that you agree with us, but for the most part, those who are politically apathetic, those who are embracing and celebrating all of these welfares and freebies and things like that, I think Australians deserve socialism because they're refusing to see all of these markers that are showing just how much our lives are going backwards. Now, when we talk about Argentina, it was it had one of the strongest economies at the turn of the last century, not this century.
Correct.
And same with Venezuela. Venezuela was one of the richest. It was fourth richest in the world in the 50s and 60s.
Something like that. And just before people laugh and say, oh, but that was so long ago, Australia was among the richest countries. And in fact, at one time, we were the richest country per capita in the late 1800s. And it's that prosperity that has led us to where we are, right? So Argentina and Australia and Venezuela, we were all up there at the same time. And Venezuela has taken a massive nosedive since 2000 and since 1999 when they turned hard socialist. Argentina started declining before that, but actually declined more slowly than what Venezuela did, and now they're correcting out of that. Us, we rode high, and we continue to ride high, but things are now crashing, and people are in denial.
Yeah, and when I say we deserve socialism, unfortunately, we live in an age, and I think this is really important to discuss, where people aren't challenged. You think back to the turn of the 1800s, right? And a lot of people were choosing to come over from Europe to Australia. They were coming here for the gold rush. They were seeing opportunities. Why? Because life in London, life in England was really hard. And they were migrating for better opportunities, right? Which is a lot of the reasons why a lot of people are coming to Australia, a lot of people from Africa, a lot of people from the Middle East are coming here because they see Australia as an opportunity. What we don't see as Aussies, and I'm speaking generally, guys, like if this doesn't apply to you, I'm not attacking you. But generally, your normies, they believe that life in Australia is hard because in respective to the life that they've lived, what is happening post-COVID is quite hard. We've got a cost of living. A lot of young people are priced out of the market. There's not a lot of opportunities because we've embraced this modern culture where you can work from home, you can be a social media content creator, and people can buy Lamborghinis after a year with cryptocurrency, you know, all that sort of stuff. And so you've got young people.
Can I just say, I don't mean to have a go at my audience, but guys, I've been a social media influencer for 16 years and I still can't afford a Lambo. Can you guys just like step up, buy a few more hoodies for me or something?
You gotta pull a boob out or something. Like
I gotta, look, I'll wear a different top next week. It'll just make it easier.
I feel like I can make this joke. I'm in a safe space. But I said to G, if I start wearing lower cut tops, this podcast will pop off. I'm telling you.
I'm glad you finally realized it because I couldn't say it to you, but that's excellent. As of next week, everybody, make sure you tune in. We'll both be wearing low cut tops.
Yeah, I'll just get my cleavage out. But yeah, so and look, this is the problem. And something that I think is really important discussing this on the Oddcast. Guys, also just quietly, if you want us to answer your questions and stuff, please super chat us because that supports us and we appreciate it.
Like this. I have this question ready to go for a couple of minutes' time when we get to the next topic.
All right, we'll get to that in 2 seconds. But something I have noticed a lot of at the moment is people shutting down normies as they're entering a discussion. And I don't want to like be derogatory when I say this, but I've heard people talk about the woke right. And, you know, and then people are arguing it doesn't exist. When I say the term woke right, what I'm referring to is people who are all or nothing ideologically. So, for example, have you read Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People?
Sure. Yeah. Years ago, but yes.
One of the best books. And it talks about how you persuade people, how you get people to adopt your thoughts. And it's done through empathy and gentle persuasion. But what I've noticed a lot of, like when I say normies, I mean people who are just, you know, your average Joes, when they're starting to feel like, you know, what's going on, I'm starting to question, they come into these conversations like, say, the Oddcast, and they get shut down by people like, you don't know this, how can you not know this? And what do you mean you don't know that?
I think the one that concerns me is when you see people who they're essentially purity testing. And what that does is it means that no one new can ever join. Whatever club you're in, if you apply a purity test with some super high bar, no one new can ever join your club and you're going to turn everyone away. And this is something I used to talk about a lot when I would go around speaking at 832 gatherings and various other gatherings, which unfortunately I haven't done so much recently, but I really enjoyed it when I was doing it. And I would talk to them about the fact that in-person human connection is going to become more and more important as AI becomes more and more prevalent, and community, a sense of these are human beings that I know who they are and they know who I am. It's one thing to be, you know, to follow the Oddcast, and we appreciate you guys that do. You know who we are, but for the most part, we don't really know who you guys are. And so that's not enough. You've got to have a community of human beings where it's actually mutual, where they know you as well as you knowing them. And the pursuit of that is going to be really, really important. And we need to be creating the communities that aren't insular, that aren't cliques. We create the in-person community that then welcomes the newbie, because they're going to come looking for that sometime soon, and they're not going to find it in very many places, and we need to be willing to offer it to them. But if we sit there going, oh, pure bloods, no, guys, you don't know why they made the decision they did when they did, and they can't undo it in any case, no matter how much they regret it. Guys, can we not? Like, can we? I understand, I get it, because you didn't have it, you suffered a lot more. I understand that, and there's the resentment that comes with that. I'm right there with you because I'm the same. I was in that boat. But if we start to do that stuff, we cap our future potential. We can never grow if we start to do that.
You've just watched another short clip from the Oddcast, and if you'd like to see the full video, it is over at our dedicated channel. That is the Oddcast HQ on YouTube. We will see you there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and have a chat in the comments.